students are gone, but you are still here. And we know how you feel because you are done. But you have so much work to do to get ready for tomorrow. Good afternoon, podcast listeners everywhere. Welcome to After the Bell, a Stunt Brothers production. A podcast that gets inside the life of a teacher and provides a wellness guide for being prepared to take on this most challenging of professions. I'm Martin Stuvel.
And I'm Roy Hunt. And we share your pain, having taught a combined 70 years. The guarantee of this podcast is to make you laugh, make you think, and give you at least one little nugget that you can use in the classroom. So get out your marking, organize your supplies, or just pour yourself a coffee.
I want something stronger.
And listen, engage, and interact with After the Bell, a podcast for you, the hard-working, dedicated teacher who wants free lesson plans, free advice, and a free meal.
Okay, Roy, but I'm not paying for anything more than McDonald's. Well, Roy, here we are, summer session number 3. Are you feeling chill now?
I think it's number 4.
No, it's number 3.
Number 3?
I wrote down number 3, so it must be.
Okay. Must be. If you think it's number 3, then it's because I wrote it down.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think it's 3.
Okay, you know,
listeners, you let us know, but I think it's 3.
Okay,
but it's summertime. We don't really give a hoot.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
It's like whatever. Here we are, summer session, and we are live again from a different North Vancouver beautiful spot.
That's right.
Here we are
outside, surrounded by families picnicking.
I know, just enjoying the and making memories of summer. Right here we are. We're in John Lawson Park in West Van, which is just next to Ambleside, which is for me, so many childhood memories get triggered by Ambleside. You know, mostly good. You know, and I look over like here. If you're from North Van, you know what you see. We see beautiful Stanley Park, which is, it's like if you're from New York, we have a New York listener. It would be like your Central Park, but much nicer. And then we have Lions Gate, and if you're one of our San Francisco listeners, you probably think of Golden Gate, which is, it's a much smaller bridge than Golden Gate Bridge, but it's got the same kind of structural design, and it's the perspective that we get sitting here. You know, anything else we can see?
Well, I can look up into the tree to the left of us, and our listeners might hear later on some screeching, and there are 2 bald eagles up in a tree, just looking.
They're right there,
waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, they're just beautiful creatures, and we can see them right above us, right there. Yeah. And sometimes I think like the seagulls will come and kind of go after them because they know the safety in numbers, because eagles sometimes go to nests and steal things from the bald eagles too, so it's a bit of a competition.
The gulls and the crows will attack the bald eagles just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
See, and for me, this, being in a park and being in the sun, this is an amazing experience for me. But I'm come from southwestern Ontario. We're not close to the ocean.
No.
But we are close to where I live. I'm close to a lake called Lake Erie, which many people call an inland ocean based on its size.
It's huge.
And I have amazing childhood memories of being near the fresh water, being...
Like you get tides on Lake Erie, don't you? Like you can see sometimes there's some motion of because it's such a big lake, and Lake Ontario too, right?
And when Lake Erie roars, it roars, right? The waves, undertow action. So it is.
It's like the Gordon Lightfoot song, "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," right? That's Lake Erie. It's about a wreck.
Yes.
Does anyone know
Lake
where
Erie
the love
Superior.
of God goes? Right? Oh, is that Lake Superior?
Is it Superior? They say.
Yes. Never gives up. It's dead. Right? Yeah. Fantastic Canadiana there. But I to me, I have to be near ocean. I don't think I could live away from ocean. It's that childhood connection to this moment, and here we are. And I just like, I'm looking around and I'm seeing like a multicultural mosaic here in North Vancouver. Just a cross section of the world that we get to enjoy and have fun with here, to celebrate diversity, and we have it here in our back garden.
We do. And then we're looking around at people, and then not too many podcasters sitting at a picnic table in a picnic area. So we're getting a lot of people looking at us too.
Yeah, and maybe we were talking. It would be neat to at one time set up and actually have people come and share their memories of of that profession which shall not be named, so that we don't have to take a shot here, right? But that profession that we're having a break from during our summer sessions. Mm-hmm. And part of that is to celebrate, I think today, is those childhood memories of summer. Those things
the
that
nostalgia
bring us
of
back.
summer, right?
You know, like when you talk about Lake Erie and me and here in Ambleside, just those things that I find as I get older, I go back to more in my mind because they're such joyful moments.
Well, you know, it's funny as I remember the one memory, just being at the beach.
Yes.
And really it's before, I think a lot of dads had running shoes maybe, those are just for when I was quite young. But all the dads at the beach in their shorts with hard shoes on and black socks above
right?
their ankles. And I'm like...
It was a real dad look from the 70s. Yeah.
And I just remember my dad going down to the beach because, I mean, he didn't have running shoes or anything like that.
No.
You know, and but I remember and like, oh, that's odd. But then I'd look and there's a whole lot of other dads in the same situation.
Yeah, there sure were. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when we kind of brought in the idea of the flip-flops, I think, some of the younger generation. But they were called thongs
They're
in
called
those
thongs.
days.
That
right?
has a different meaning now.
I know. And then you also, it was horrible, but the idea of the Speedo was kind of like, you know, you either had the shorts that were short shorts, but then the Speedo came as the swimsuit of choice by some... And some who should not have made that their swimsuit of choice.
Well, I think it was mostly for Olympic swimmers. You know, it's for people who to be streamlined so they get more speed.
I think that's it.
In the water, but I think in the water they were perfect. Out of the water for your average person, it would be. There are better fashion choices, is what I'm trying to say.
Like all things, and even bad things, I've heard they're coming back. I've heard the Speedo is coming back, my friend.
Right, and when we're talking about beaches and remembering back, there was no such thing as sunscreen.
No.
I remember people...
No, we put on oil, right?
They put on baby oil, and I remember there were these high school students, they were putting on baby oil with a touch of iodine in the baby oil.
Right.
So that would give them just a little color as they started to bronze in the sun.
Basically, it's like the pig cookout, right? Where you got it in a rotisserie, right? Yourself was on there, and you're just burning yourself.
Yes, maybe that's why I like the smell of roasted chicken or something on the barbecue. It brings me back to the childhood memories of the beach.
Yeah. And if people did wear a hat, so I guess the visor kind of came back. Remember the visor? I think it was a golfing kind of attire for the head, but the visor with the hole for your hair and everything else. That was, to me, was a real 70s look. Those 70s moments for us, right? Because it's kind of our time when we were young.
And then people coming to the beach with their massive sound systems.
The ghetto blasters.
Yes. And then just playing it on the beach or walking down the beach with it on their shoulder. Like this.
I mean, I was fortunate, I think, as I became a teenager in the 80s, that was the development later on of the Walkman and the development of the Walkman of your own personal listening device.
Oh, I loved the Walkman.
And I just remember, I can imagine myself the first time playing that and just this sound inside my head as I walk. Like that really was the experience.
I have this great picture of me having the headphones on and the Walkman and my head sticking out the window of a bus going down a mountain valley heading towards Kathmandu and listening to music and my head outside. And I remember my wife taking a picture of me and it was just like, I just loved that.
Yeah.
And you could get tapes at that time.
Yeah, no, I know.
Pirated tapes.
Yes.
We
would make our own. That was also the thing, right? Your mixed tape collection, right?
Yes.
And then it often... When you're starting to date someone, you often would give that mixtape of your songs that kind of show who you are, right? The mixtape. Yes. I also remember the first time I had a Walkman on. I mean, in terms of that kind of image you have. After grade 12, my dad, whose sisters were from Germany, I went there for the summer to stay with either sister. And that's when I had my first Walkman. And I bought the tape. Now, this is not... people are going to go, what? You got a Walkman and you listen to Christy Berg? But I never, it was Christy Berg and it was this Traveler song. And it's got a really good rhythm to it. But I'm on the train in Germany, and I'm sticking my head out the window, right? Just watching the excitement of the track going by. But I can just, right now, as we speak, picture that moment of the soundtrack of that in my head on this train. It felt like being in a movie almost, right? Yeah.
And I remember from those summer experiences, my bicycle, which I loved so much, it had a banana seat.
I had the banana
seat.
Yeah.
And it had the handlebars.
And do you remember what we used to do in the wheels?
And used to put cards in the spokes.
Young listeners, imagine this, those who were born later on after maybe
and it was a clip
90s.
like a clothesline clip.
You would take a clothesline clip, right?
And you'd put it onto the spokes of your tire.
So it made that sound.
And the card would go click, 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 click all the way around.
Yeah.
And it was,
That was our joy.
That was the joy.
Right? But then you'd get all hot from that. And to me, one of the greatest thrills was running through the sprinkler as a child, right?
Yes.
There were no water
restrictions.
No, that sprinkler would be going all day long, probably,
yes.
right?
That was the best spot of the lawn where you lived, too, because
it was so green there, right? And no water parks at all, so it was the sprinkler.
It was a sprinkler.
And if you had a water gun, it was not a super soaker
water
gun.
soaker.
Just a tiny little water gun. And I, in fact, remember, because when I had my own kids in the 90s, you always start with such idealism, right? Mm-hmm. You just want them to be pure and not corrupted by the greater world out there. So to me, the big thing was to be anti-violent, not promoting guns. So I didn't want to get him a big gun ever or a water gun. And my son, who turns 30 in September, but he had a little, like a firefighter's pack on his back and just had a little hose that he would get a little bit of water. And he was invited to a birthday party, maybe when he was 5 or 6, and they were going to have a water fight, right? So he brought his
little fireman's pack.
And he was so upset when he came back. And I guess the kids, they had super soakers, right? They just doused them. So what did I do? The very next day, we went and bought the biggest freaking water super soaker I could find. I caved. The arms race had begun, right? I was not going to let my son be humiliated.
There you go. Yes. And who hasn't made sort of an entrepreneurial choice in starting a lemonade stand?
Classic.
Right? You start selling to your family first. Right? But you don't tell your mom, because
there's no startup cost,
or dad.
Right?
There's no startup cost because you just
Mom
raid the refrigerator. you grab all the lemons, or you grab, in that case, Kool-Aid, right? So if you had Kool-Aid, that's even better, because then you would just take, your mom's 5-pound bag of sugar and walk out the door.
And I was so heartened the other day. I was just cycling past my house, and I saw this kid hauling out a table, hauling out 2 chairs, got the cups out, got the cooler, and he was setting up a lemonade stand here in 2025. Right. So it's nice to know that some traditions continue long into the future. I just think of fans and air conditioning and things that we would keep cool that kind of were developed, because normally the only way to keep cool were those moments of jumping in a cold lake or getting the sprinkler. And if you were lucky, you had a fan. I don't think anyone had air conditioner. Maybe you did then.
I didn't. I don't remember any.
Yeah.
The air conditioning in our family was pushing up the window. Pushing up the window and hoping for the best. Well, nights.
Yeah, I love here. You probably can hear the plane going over here. It's a bit of an airline that takes small flights around.
Little harbor
air, right? And they might be flying up to Vancouver Island right now, but we look up and we see those kind of things happening as we record this. And you can probably hear some seagulls there. See, they're actually starting to circulate around those eagles a bit.
Yeah.
Just keeping an eye on them. Not too happy with what they might do.
So we talk about cooling the house by opening a window. In southwestern Ontario, the humidity is very, very high.
Yeah.
In the summertime, and sometimes it could be that humid at night.
Yeah, it just sits on you, right?
So, and you would just walk outside and you just sweat instantly.
Yeah.
And so, oftentimes, just to get away from the heat inside the house, because you had some fans, but we didn't have air conditioning, we'd go out, set up our tent outside. And just sleep
backyard
outside.
camping.
In the backyard camping, and we'd have friends come over, and we'd sleep in the backyard. in the tent because it was actually cooler in the tent. And what I really remember about that time is the crickets. At night,
okay.
right?
We didn't have those here.
And so many crickets in the grass. Just hear them chirping at night, and fireflies.
Yeah. But what we didn't have in North Van, but you don't see them anymore, is garter snakes. We had so many garter snakes around. I would see them in the back garden all the time, and we would catch them and have a little snake, and they were harmless. And that's a total childhood memory. But it also triggers backyard camping that I would do. And I know he listens. He's a good friend who goes back to elementary school, Sam Turley, who lives in Salmon Arm now. And I know he listens to this.
Yeah.
And we would set up my parents. My dad had one of those good canvas tents, the ones you could stand up in?
Yes.
With, they're heavy as anything.
Yep.
And they were actually rainproof as long as you didn't touch the side. If it ever rained and you touched the side.
But there was a distinct smell of canvas.
You never would get rid of that, right?
No.
But Sam and I would camp out in the summer in the back garden, and our big treat, Roy, was to go out and find bottles and cans and get some money so we could buy candy. And honestly, the amount of, I don't think we collected that much money.
Yeah.
$1, $2. But then we would go to the store and the candy, the bottle caps and all those things, the red hot, spicy gum that we would buy, the variety of things. We would just have this festival of food and junk in our tent all night long.
Right.
So shout out to Sam, and I have such fond memories of that.
Yeah. And having bonfires in the evening, and you didn't need to have the heat.
No,
because it was so hot.
It was just I think it's something instinctual that we did early on in the plains of Africa, sitting around the fire and talking and communicating. I think it's just evolutionary within us, and I just find we've probably solved many problems as humanity by sitting around that fire.
But what did they roast? Because we roast hot dogs and marshmallows.
A lizard or so, right?
What did they roast?
Gazelle leg.
He's like, I can't wait. Yeah, but
you'll be amazed, though, speaking of fires, here, Ambleside, we could have fires on the beach.
On the beach.
In the 70s and 80s, we would have fires. You weren't allowed to drink on the beach. The police would check that, but we'd have big fires going, and as teenagers, it was a great place to kind of sit around, and it was completely allowed at that time.
Talking about having, you talked about having fires on the beach.
Yes.
But where I was in southwestern Ontario, there was a beautiful beach area that we would go to all the time called Port Stanley.
Okay.
And there was no wood on the beach. Nothing really washed up. So, but we would go to the beach at night. And there was something magical. And we would go swimming at night.
Yeah.
And there was a place to go drinking at night. And so we'd go out for a few drinks, and then we'd go for a swim. And I remember one of my favorite memories is I had a good friend who had an MG sports car.
Yes.
It always seemed to be in a state of repair. But it was MG Midget. And he put the top down, and he had 2 stereo speakers in the back seat. And we would just drive around and put the top down. The boys of summer. It was such a fantastic memory. But going to the beach in the daytime or at nighttime, it seemed like one of those summer rights.
It was. And in those days, you go to the beach, you go to a lake, and everyone has every inflatable thing you can think of, every creature, whale, it could be a rabbit, whatever it is, you name it. In my memory, we just had an air mattress. They were the very thick air mattress that you would use to sleep on.
Yep.
They weren't thin, right? Really heavy material. And you'd blow that up and float on that. But that was kind of the water device.
Well,
I don't know if maybe I was just impoverished as a child, but I think that was all that we had.
There wasn't much.
Yeah.
I think, for inflatable things, I think when I remember inflatable mattresses, they were pretty flimsy. It didn't take much to drag it across the sand, and then suddenly it would pop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I do remember things that you would bring to the beach with you. That would lawn chairs.
Yes. Oh,
right?
they were a certain style, right?
They're a certain style. Because you could aluminum.
And they had those strips that you could replace, right? Because if they broke, you just went through and they clipped on. Everyone had those, right?
Yes.
Usually yellow or brown, or there's certain colors to them that were just
blues and greens.
Yes.
It was a plastic weave.
That was the only way it was,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't canvas often. It was that
Nope.
material. Yeah.
Nope.
The memories of childhood.
Yes.
And I'm just seeing so many people here that I hope, as I watch these kids, all with smiles on their faces. There's no one's upset. No one's crying. No one's complaining. I hope they're forming these memories that we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that 30 years from now, 40 years from now, they're going to look
Right.
back in their time in John Lawson Park at Ambleside in this beautiful location and think back to those things that really matter.
Those family
yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
And so part of them is the family experiences, and then later on they become your as you grow, your adolescence experiences.
yes.
And then, but that's all those layers and layers of memories that make you, the person that you are.
They absolutely do. And we actually, because we were preparing for this summer memory episode, summer session number 3, we think it's 3, and we were asking for people to share some of their best memories. So on our Facebook page, we have our website, stuntbrothers.ca, but please feel free to join our After the Bell Facebook page. It's a great community where people share, and I get to update things and what we're working on for our podcast. So Carol McKay.
Oh, I
We know Carol. We used to
Carol.
work
Yes,
with
I do.
Carol at Dorothy Linus. She said, going to the cabin in the Caribou, swimming and rowing on the lake. Charlene Wilson.
Oh, I know her
You
too.
heard of her?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Kick the can. Kick the can. Those summer games, right? We would be out till... And that's the thing. You would be out until you were called home, right?
That's right.
And all day long, and you'd come home for dinner, but the evenings would be beautiful and sunny and light out, at least till 10, in July. And you'd be playing kick the can and those kind of moments with the kids in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Were there any Ontario games that were specific to you?
Well, I lived out on a farm.
Yes.
We would play hide and seek in the cornfield at night.
Yeah. What up? How did that work?
I don't know.
Some people still in there, aren't they?
Well, maybe
They never found
yes.
George.
I think later on it became a horror movie.
Yeah.
Children of the Corn.
Was Stephen King your neighbor?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, we used to do things like that or outside. A frisbee would be one thing though, not in the night, but I'd play frisbee.
Yeah.
I can remember throwing the frisbee back and forth, being younger, and then later on, we had this frisbee game with beer where we would put your beer on the ground.
Okay.
And you would throw the frisbee to knock over someone's beer. And then it was a drinking game.
Yeah, of course
Yes.
it was.
Yes, and then it was a drinking game.
And did you get better as the game went on? Or
I don't know.
Did you have to just drink more?
I just have to drink more. And then it became more elevated to the point that we started, I think there's such an interest in Frisbee that it became a summer thing where you would play Frisbee golf.
Oh, okay.
And in my
Right.
hometown, we were one of the first places in Ontario to actually have 18-hole
Wow.
or 18-post
Groundbreaking. Whoa.
Frisbee golf course. It was down in this ravine area.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Very nice.
Yes.
And I'm looking at our comments again, and
Okay.
Lindsay talks about road trips listening to Stompin' Tom. Now,
Stomp Tom.
if you're Canadian and you're a certain age, Stompin' Tom was just that Canadiana thing, right?
Yes.
The old hockey game and all those songs he had. He's so uniquely Canadian. I don't know if he could exist in another country. There's something about Stompin'
Stompin'
Tom
Tom.
that is just, to me, the heart of the Canadiana.
Well, I wouldn't call him Canada's Bruce Springsteen.
No, he was not in that. It was a certain genre, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Karen Barnett, who we worked with as well, she talks about going to the cabin. And I think a lot
Yes.
of people. And in Ontario, now, is that not just such a big thing for people to go to their cabins? Like, what they have a special term for
We
it.
cottage.
Cottage.
They
yeah,
go to
yeah,
their
go
cottage.
to the cottage,
And
right,
so
yeah.
the Muskokas, that's classed
Cottage
as
country?
cottage country.
Okay, I've heard that.
And lots of people go to their cottage. Again, I have a great, a fond childhood memory of going to my grandma and grandpa's cottage.
Yes.
They lived towards a place called Triconnell.
Yeah.
And we would go visit them, and there would be nights of card games with grandma and grandpa. They had a TV, smallest TV I've ever seen, with an antenna and two channels.
Yes.
If you were lucky, one for sure, two maybe on a clear day. And we would
a little
watch,
snowy probably
a little
sometimes.
snowy. We would always watch The National with Lloyd Robertson.
Yeah.
And
Knowlton Nash. Then was the next guy in there. I remember that. Yes.
And this hockey. So it'd be the hockey games. We'd watch Stompin' Tom Connors.
You're right.
Another.
Often on the Tommy Hunter show. Did you ever watch the Tommy Hunter show?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was often a guest he had on.
And so those would be the things. But we would have days where my brother and I would just leave the cottage. My grandfather had some mobility issues, so he couldn't come down to the lake. Mm-hmm. But we'd get up early. We'd walk down to the lake with our fishing poles. We'd wade in just above our navels, kind of thing, and we tried to get as far out in the water as we could, and we would always catch perch.
Okay.
And we would catch perch and bring them back, clean them, and we'd have a fresh perch dinner made for my grandfather and my grandmother. My grandma would sometimes come down and watch us, but when I think about it, we didn't have life jackets. We just went out, and we were at least, I'm going to say, 15 minutes down a hill.
Oh, really?
Away from the cottage.
Okay.
Unsupervised.
Yeah, no, you were in those days.
We survived.
Somehow we survived.
We survived.
And we're well balanced, less anxious, all those things that we've talked about for this generation. So that's why I get so happy when I see this.
So many families
we
out
need
here.
this, right?
Yes.
And I think it's so important. And we probably should slowly wind up because, it's just two old guys talking about their past. And eventually we're going to go, okay.
Okay. But enough about us. And so if our listeners want to share their
some
memories,
more, share
we'd
away,
love to hear
and we
them.
will happily share your thoughts and your
Post them.
views on our podcast.
Post them on our website or post them on our Facebook page, which is or our Facebook
group. After the Bell or stuntbrothers.ca. And please be part of the conversation. And this has been a joy to be here. We're looking up at the eagles. They're still up there.
They're still there.
They're beautiful white heads. They're looking out to sea, maybe thinking there might be a snack out there or something to satisfy their
Someone's
needs.
dog off a leash.
Well, I mean,
not.
these guys, they could get a small dog probably, right?
They could, yes.
So thank you, listeners. Thank you for being part of this journey. And again, keep enjoying your summer. Keep taking time to look after yourself. And we'll talk to you next week.
Because this is number 3.
It is number 3.
Number 3.
Okay, here we go. This podcast is organic, taking shape with each episode. Building resiliency for teachers everywhere.
That sounds great.
And our website is stuntbrothers.ca.
That's stuntbrothers.ca.
We will chat again.
After the bell.